What's up, guys? NXT Takeover Toronto took place August the 10th, 2019 from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Here's a review and the results of the show. We start off playing the theme song and the video package on the Titantron. Then we are underway, starting with the NXT Tag Team Championships with the Street Profits defending against the Undisputed Era. This match starts off with a little mat-based action with Kyle O'Reilly and Angelo Dawkins. This match has a good mix of high flying and ground and pound. There's a spot where Montez Ford goes for a people's elbow, but it doesn't land it. But then later he hits a rock bottom. 14 minutes in, 25 minutes in, the Street Profits retain after a top rope splash from Montez Ford. This was an excellent tag team match and a good way to start off TakeOver. We see Johnny Gargano in the back with a ladder warming up, and then we see Ricochet in the audience. Next matchup is Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. I love Io's entrance music, by the way, and the darker persona. The match starts off with Io beating Candice up, but Candice continues to fight back. Candice tries to attack as soon as the match starts, but Io catches her diving to the outside and then suplexes her onto the announce table. Candice winds up almost getting counted out. She then tries reversal after reversal to get the win, and it shows a lot of heart in the match. At one point, there's a Spanish fly by a Japanese woman in Canada. I thought that was a little interesting. For those who aren't Candice fans, this is a good match to see what she's capable of. This was another good match with Io Shirai finally locking Candice into the submission, and Candice goes to sleep, unable to tap. We see Shayna Baszler in the back punching the air, getting ready. Next, Matt Riddle comes to the ring through the audience and tells us, "Bro, this is TakeOver Toronto," and then he calls out Killian Dane. Dane then comes out from the audience and they go at it. Matt Riddle winds up laying out security as the fight continues. They both wind up going through a table from the ramp, and then they take a third guy with them. Not sure who he was, but I think he was supposed to be security. He was, however, moving around like he was getting ready for the spot. We see Austin Theory shown in the crowd. Then next up, we get a strange Canadian Mountie entrance with the old school WWE Mountie song sung. The Toronto Raptor cheerleaders then come out and dance. And then finally, Velveteen Dream's music hits and he comes out with a Mountie hat. And it's time for the North American Championship match with Velveteen Dream defending against Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. Velveteen Dreams using moves from the Bret Hart playbook and even uses a sharpshooter. At one point, with all three men getting thrown from the top rope, you could clearly see that Velveteen Dream jumps off. It's even worse when they replay it. Pete Dunne is about to win the championship, but then Velveteen Dream jumps on the referee to end the count. Roderick Strong tries to steal the win by throwing the Dream outside and then laying Pete Dunne out and pinning him, only for the Dream to come back in the ring and hit the elbow on both men. Roddy winds up rolling away as the Dream pins Dunne to retain. We then see Adam Cole taping up in the back as we get ready for the NXT Women's Championship match. Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler. The match starts off slow-paced and mat-based with a lot of submissions. Mia winds up attacking the arm, and this is a different type of match than the others tonight. I think people were hating on this match because of the change in the pace of the match compared to what we've seen up until this point. There was some fast-paced action, but mostly wear-down attacks and strikes. Mia Yim injures Shayna's arm, which makes it hard to lock into submission. Mia then stomps on Shayna's fingers, saying this is karma, and then she tries to lock in an armbar. Baszler reverses the lock in the armbar, and Mia fights out. Shayna Baszler then winds up locking the legs around Mia Yim and eventually gets her to tap. Mia Yim pretty much dominated the match, but Shayna Baszler comes up winning. We then see Walter in the audience, who is the United Kingdom World Champion, followed by Tyler Bate. As we get ready for the main event, I guess it's safe to say that the Undisputed Era won't be walking away with all the championships tonight. I'm kind of glad that the Street Profits didn't lose, but I would have liked to see one of the other championships change hands. I'm a Velveteen Dream fan, but I just feel like he's had the title long enough. He should lose it and maybe go on to regain it later. I was honestly hoping that Tommaso Ciampa would return at TakeOver, but he didn't. Main event time, 2 out of 3 falls for the NXT World Championship. We have Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole. The first fall was the classic match chosen by Adam Cole. It was a pretty good fall, basically with both men wearing each other down, and it was pretty tame. The first fall goes about 30 minutes until Adam Cole brings in the chair. This winds up distracting the referee and allows Adam Cole to kick Gargano downstairs. Cole begins arguing with the ref, and then he catches a super kick. Johnny Gargano grabs the chair and then he hits Adam Cole with it. And then as the street fight begins, he begins leveling Cole with the chair a couple of more times before ramming it in his face and then diving to the outside. They begin going into it and through the crowd and then back to the announcer table area. And you can guess what happens here. Back in the ring, and Gargano brings in a table, 2 tables, and a chair, and then another chair for Adam Cole to use on him when he comes back in the ring. Adam Cole goes diving into a chair before we get a Gargano lock and a tap out. Fall 2 winds up lasting about 7 minutes. The cage begins to lower for fall 3 with weapons and barbed wire on the top. We get ECW chants, and the only way to win this match is by pinfall or submission. And this is where I seen a problem. WWE is PG, and after seeing a match like the Ladder War on ROH the night before, I assumed that this would be a tame match and most of the weapons were only there to look cool. However, 55 minutes into the match, Johnny Gargano finds wire cutters and he gets some barbed wire, and both men go crashing from the top of the cage through a ladder with the barbed wire in their hand. But for the most part, the barbed wire was out of the way during the fall. Adam Cole retains the championship in the final fall. Adam Cole does somehow have a bloody cut on his back, and as Cole and the Undisputed Era celebrate on the ramp, Johnny Gargano is laid out in the ring, and then we go off the air. No new champions, unfortunately, but it was a great card nonetheless. A Seth Rollins Chronicle came on afterwards, and I immediately changed the channel looking for a replay of some more Takeover. As stated, the Shayna Baszler Mia Yim match could have probably been the worst match on the card. However, I don't think it was a bad match. It was just a different type of match than the rest of the show. On a side note, when we're talking about NXT as a whole, I enjoyed the Breakout Tournament. It reminded me of the Top Prospect Tournament that makes stars in ROH. I think a tournament like this is a good way to introduce the audience to people that they may not be familiar with. The tournament final, seeing Cameron Grimes, who was Trevor Lee in Impact, versus Jordan Miles, who was ACH in ROH. And Jordan Miles was victorious to earn a championship opportunity of his choosing. Adam Cole wound up defending against Jordan Miles, and as expected, we didn't see a new champion. However, it was a good match. As mentioned, this was still a good way to showcase talent the WWE audience may not be familiar with. We recently also just had the Undisputed Era regain the NXT Tag Team Championships, which leads me to wonder if the Street Profits will be officially drafted to Raw in the upcoming draft. I also, as a bonus, decided to post my predictions for the NXT UK event. I don't watch much NXT UK, and I didn't really watch the show. It was on, and I kind of listened just to get the results. For the NXT UK Championship, I thought that Walter would defeat Tyler Black. For the NXT Women's Championship, I thought that Toni Storm would regain over Kaylee Ray. I was wrong, and Kaylee Ray became the new NXT Women's Champion. Tegan Knox was shown in the audience. The Tag Team Championships were on the line when the grizzled young veterans defended against Gallus and Mark Andrews and Flash Gordon. As I expected, we saw new Tag Team Champions. However, I thought it would be Gallus. Instead, the winners were Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan. In the last man standing match, I predicted that Joe Coffey would defeat Dave Mastiff, and that's what happened. And in the last match, I chose Travis Banks to defeat Noam Dar, and I was wrong, and Noam Dar wound up getting the win. Surprisingly, Cesaro wrestled as well against, in a great match that I actually paid attention to. Cesaro did the swing about 40 times as well. Honestly, I have nothing to base any of my predictions on besides liking Toni Storm and liking Coffey's entrance theme. However, there's just too many shows to try to keep up with, so I have to make the cut somewhere. I have nothing against NXT UK though. It was also announced this week that Tegan Knox is actually returning this upcoming week on NXT UK. And I might actually have to watch this because for some reason I've been in the Tegan Knox corner since the Mae Young Classic. Anyhow guys, as expected, fantastic takeover once again. NXT never disappoints. I definitely recommend NXT Takeover Toronto. Do you guys watch NXT UK? Did you see the UK Takeover show? Sorry for posting these results so late, but as always, please like, subscribe, comment, and leave your thoughts and opinions. And thank you for being here and watching / listening to this video.